Hello everyone. So this is my second road legal ride since I passed my Mod 2. Really quite excited. I'm sure anybody that's actually gone to the trouble to get the motorbike license knows exactly what I mean. So I just thought I'd do a quick intro. My bike is my WRF 450. And I just thought I'd basically take you for a little ride around the countryside near my house and just basically talk about my experience going through the whole process. I will now transfer to bike cam, as it were. Cheers, guys. Right guys, here we go. Let this car go. So then fellas, I'll tell you what, it's absolutely lovely to be out on the road, on a road legal bike. No, you don't have to worry about the police or any of that. And this sort of bike will attract a lot of attention, I'm sure. All the raggy lads seem to love them. So anyway, let's talk motorbike licenses. So I got this bike, obviously, with the intentions of green lanes, all that sort of stuff. I did use it quite a lot on the motocross track to kind of learn and stuff whilst I was doing my motorbike license process. So let's start right at the beginning. CBT. Now I did a CBT bloody donkeys years ago when I was 16, like most people did. Back in the day it was 50 quid. Lo and behold, price of everything's gone up massively, as everyone's aware. The CBT cost me 180 quid. So 180 quid for the CBT. Let's face it, they're not particularly difficult to pass if you've got any experience riding bikes. So that was relatively easy enough. Nice steady half a day on pissing around on a 125. Quite a lot of fun actually. Nice to get back out on a bike really. Other than this, on tracks and stuff, that's all I'd been doing for a few months. So as basic and boring as you think a CBT is, actually quite enjoyable. I did really like that, and then that kind of fueled a little bit of passion for me to go for my Mod 1 and Mod 2 a little bit quicker, because initially I wasn't really that fussed, and I'm just gonna kind of spread it out over maybe about a year. So like I say, I got the bug a little bit riding a crappy 125 about. Got booked in for my theory test and hazard perception test pretty much straight away, and best recommendation with that, get an app on your phone and just use it like a little game. Whenever you've got a daft 20 minutes spare here and there, sat on your lunch break at work, whatever it may be, just go through a mock test on the app on your phone, and yeah, I found that was the best way for me to learn. So that was good. Went to York, had a bit of a day out, made a day out of it with our lass. She went and did a bit of shopping for an hour. I did my theory test. Then we met up later on, had a bit of lunch, afternoon in York, so that was alright, decent little day. So past that, I think I'll drop 2 points on that. Once again, easy enough. You've got to be a bit of a, not a bit of an idiot, because some questions are tricky, but if you go into it prepared, it's not a problem, is it? So then we got on to the real stuff, the bones of the whole operation. So booked on for the Mod 1. Never rode a proper road bike and anything of a decent CC ever before. Big heavy bikes. I think I was using an SV 650. Nice bike, actually. I quite enjoyed it. But the weight difference from this, which is about 110 kilograms, to one of those, probably put about 50 or 60 kilograms on the weight of the bike. So that was that took a little bit of adjusting to. But having said that, those bikes are far smoother than this, so easier to ride. This is obviously a big 450 single cylinder thumper, vibrates, bangs, everything, you know. It's obviously it's made for bombing up green lanes and all that. Bit of dirt bike track, so completely different bike. Road bike is obviously a far more focused, far more refined bit of kit. So I think I had a 2-hour lesson on that, going through all the various stages of the Mod 1. So you've got the emergency stop, slow speed control, the walking test I think it was called, and then there's slalom, so you've got to go through cones and stuff like that, figure of 8. I mean, I seem to take to it all quite well. Didn't really have any problems, and I was the only one on my lesson, as it were, who they actually let have a go at the hazard avoidance, which is like I think it's 35 mile an hour. And it's you basically got to go into a bit of a simulated, oh shit, there's a car there, or a pothole in the road, and you've got to basically swerve around it quick as you can, come back into your own lane, and then come to a nice safe stop. It's not an emergency stop, so you get plenty of time to stop. But you can't do it just by leaning the bike. You've got to do, it's called counter steering. It's something I'd never really done before on the road. So you effectively push your handlebars, and it feels quite dangerous, if I'm honest with you. And so I had to go at that. Kept kicking the cones as you go past. And the only thing I was really struggling with, then so that was that. Then had another, I think I had another lesson. Did I? Can't remember. I might have had another lesson before I did the Mod 1, which I did that over at Thorpe Arch of a Weatherby Way. And so I went into that, and I don't know if you guys are like me, but I need to be on the bike for a little bit, just to warm up a little bit, you know, get rid of the nerves and stuff. And I said to me, my instructor, who was, you know, I'm going to continue on. So I said to my instructor who was there, well, the guy from the training centre who brought the bike along, I said, oh, can I have like 5 minutes riding around car park first? And he's like, no, you can't. Oh, fuck's sake, why not? He's like, well, you're going to be straight into the test. I was like, Jesus. So I went into the test nervous. And luckily, I did all right on it. And added a little bit more nerves to it, because the guy who did the test before me, he'd failed. So that kind of puts you on edge a little bit, thinking, shit, they've just failed somebody there. So I went into it nervous, even more nervous because I couldn't warm up, and then the guy before me failed. So managed to pass it anyway. But don't let people tell you that's easy. It's not as easy as people might tell you. You've still got to give it a bit of respect, and I'm not waiting for these. The turn round. So whilst if you go into it with, you know, a decent level of skill, you've been practicing, you try and keep a level head, you should be all right. But you can still fail it. It's not an easy thing. So then I thought, right, I fluked that. I've done all right with that. So then got booked on for the Mod 2, feeling pretty confident. I was feeling pretty confident about my abilities on a bike, so said, well, I only really want like maybe it's a 2-hour familiarisation lesson on the road. So got a 2-hour bike lesson. Once again, did all right. The instructor, he was like, yeah, you shouldn't have any problems with that. You did fine with that, Liam. He didn't actually believe I'd been riding a bike for as little amount of time as I had done. So that was a little bit confidence inspiring. So then I went in for the Mod 2, which was actually Friday the 13th of March, just gone. So now the Mod 2 is, I think there's a bit of luck involved with it, because if you get a bad, neutral's a bit hard to find in boots. So if you get a bad test route, that can make all the difference, can't it? I think luckily I got a decent test route. Although I did think I'd messed up. I came to a red light and it caught me out a little bit, and I virtually had to do an emergency stop within like the first 5 minutes of the test. So that was a bit bad, and then you instantly start thinking, Christ, I might as well wrap in here. I failed this, and I ain't got a prayer of passing this. But then I thought, you know what, sod it, it's experience. I'm probably going to be doing it again, so just use it as experience. So I did it, continued on. I don't think he saw this little mistake, but we came to a little mini roundabout, and very, very low curb around this mini roundabout, and my front wheel just clipped it. And once again I thought, fuck, I've ruined it now. If he'd not pulled me about the first mistake, he's going to pull me about that one. But once again I thought, sod it, it's just experience, isn't it? Keep going. Then we hit a pedestrian area, and it was the age-old thing. There's a pedestrian that looked like they might want to cross this pedestrian crossing here, but they're about 2 foot away from it. So I kept going and looked over my shoulder. Lo and behold, examiner's stopped. So I think, fuck's sake, I should have stopped there. So once again I'm thinking, right, I failed this, absolutely failed it. That's 3 occasions that he probably should have failed me there. By this time the test was nearly over. We came to another set of traffic lights, There was 3 or 4 cars in front of me. Lights turned green, quite a big multi-lane traffic light system, and just as the other cars got through, they turned to red on me, and it was one of them. I was that close to the line, it was unsafe to stop, so I thought, sorry, I'm just going to gun it. I've failed this anyway, so I'm just going to gun it. So he gets on the comms, he's like, right Liam, pull over at that petrol station on the left hand side and wait for me, I've got cut off by the lights. So that was that. Made our way back to the test centre, and then went in the office. He said, "Oh, do you want your instructor to come in with?" I said, "Yeah, you can do, mate. That's fine." Previously, I'd had a minute with the instructor and said to him, "Look, mate, I think I failed that. I've fucked up a few times there." So I went into that obviously expecting a fail, and lo and behold, he said, "Right, you've got 3 rider faults there, Liam, but I'm passing you." I was like, "What? I can't believe that." So yeah, a couple of takeaways from that. If you think you failed the test because you've made a mistake, just keep going with it. He might not have deemed it as a bigger deal as you made it up to be in your head. Just keep going with it. Just keep going with it with the test and crack on, because you never know, he might just have passed. I'm probably going to cut this bit of footage out now because I'll speed it up anyway, get back onto some better roads. So yeah, there we are basically. So I've now got a fully road legal enduro bike, and looking forward to making some good progress on the bikes, both in skill and all the rest of it. Improve my skills, improve the amount of times I get out, and make some better content for you all. The traffic lights there, but I'm still not confident enough to start cutting in around all the traffic and filtering like the lads do when you see them going down the coast and that. But I'll get there. So a little bit about the bike. Now, obviously Nobblies not great on the road. It's not geared for the road. This bike is quite happy sat doing 55, 60 mile an hour tops with this current setup and gearing and stuff. It's a really comfortable riding position. I do like it. Would I want to go 100 miles on it? No, I wouldn't. It's a comfortable riding position, but the seat is a little bit hard for longer rides. But yeah, I like it. I do like it. In motocross boots, it's hard to find neutral. Gearbox is definitely not as refined as the road bike I was using. But I do like it. I think it's more comfortable riding position. Obviously, it's not a touring bike. Not going to go as fast, but definitely a lot more nimble, easier to chuck about than the SV I was using. I'm going to shut up for a bit, guys. Just enjoy the ride a bit, yeah? So at the minute, my biggest gripe with this bike is lack of mirrors. Obviously you can still look over your shoulder to do lifesavers and stuff, but it's not great sticking your head that far around to see if there's anything behind you. So I might look into getting some bar end mirrors. Looking to get some little bar end mirrors, some little cheap ones. But moving forward with this bike, if I don't use it on the track as much, the motocross tracks as much as I have been, I might possibly look at doing supermoto wheels and stuff on it. And because I bet this is an absolute blast when it's set up for supermoto with the proper gearing and stuff. Now these traffic lights are an absolute pain in the arse. I don't think that they pick up a motorbike on this side because it's a small vehicle. The amount of times that you can be sat here is not really funny. Now give it a minute. Give it a minute here. This is shit. These fuckers aren't going to change. Yep, I knew it. Nothing there. So guys, I hope you enjoyed that little bit of a ride around, a little bit of an explanation of my experiences on the Mod 1 and Mod 2. This is my bike, big single cylinder thumper. It's the Yamaha WR450F. This is a 2005 model, smart piece of kit, very pretty bike in my opinion. There we go.